Hi, welcome to another IELTS video. In this video, we are going to look at a general task 2 example question and model response that involves analyzing the advantages and disadvantages of a topic. If you find this video helpful, visit my blog at IELTS.com and join us at the forum IELTSnetwork.com. Today's Task 2 description reads, many students take a year off after high school in order to work before they go to college or university. Do you think this has more advantages than disadvantages? Use personal examples to illustrate your position. Okay, so the question is very straightforward. The instruction words are asking us to choose a side, whether it be advantages or disadvantages. And of course, you could take the middle ground. I always advise candidates not to do this because the wording patterns that are required are a little bit more complicated, and it just increases the chance of minor grammatical issues, which could lead to the loss of a few marks towards your final band. We're being told to use personal examples, so we'll have to be sure to do that. So in this response, we are going to argue that there are more disadvantages to taking a year off school than advantages. To give a balanced response, we might want to offer a bit of concession towards the advantages side through the essay, which you will see in this model. What we're going to do is spend our energy to disprove that there are more advantages than disadvantages. So we will be mainly looking at the disadvantages and giving examples that, that prove that there are indeed more disadvantages than advantages. So you will notice that this model essay is following a straightforward argument essay structure. The completion of high school marks a threshold into adulthood for many people. Graduates are increasingly choosing to use this transition period to take a year off work before continuing their studies at university. So you can see us introducing the topic of the essay and narrowing it to the specific area that we will be looking at. But as you can see, so far, no opinion has been shared. Although this decision may be motivated by unavoidable financial needs, it is argued that breaking from education carries with it more disadvantages than advantages. So the first part of the sentence offers a little bit of concession because there may be certain situations where students take a break, or they need to take a break because they don't have the funds to go to university. But aside from that, we're arguing that that there are more disadvantages than advantages to taking this break from your studies. This will be proved by looking at how pausing the learning process can lead students to academic disinterest and wasted time. So those are the two topics we will be looking at in our supporting paragraphs. First supporting paragraph. Firstly, students who break from their studies after high school are more likely to refrain from completing a college or university degree. Now, a personal example, which was required according to the task description. For example, several of my graduating classmates in high school decided to take entry-level jobs in sales for various high-tech companies around our city instead of engaging in tertiary study. And I normally advise people to avoid personal language. However, in this case, it would be okay because we are being asked specifically in the question to share personal examples. At the end of their first working year, the financial gains they experienced enticed them to maintain their jobs and abandon plans of higher education. As this example shows, taking a year off before university can lead to a forfeited education. Okay, so we can see a very clear conclusion being drawn from this that illustrates that this is a disadvantage. Further, often students who decide to work for a year instead of studying at university look back on this period as wasted time. For instance, students who take a year off rarely have the opportunity to work for high-profile employers, and thus must resort to engaging, unchallenging service jobs that teach them little. Thus, real-world experience, an oft-argued benefit to taking a year off work, cannot really be seen as an advantage when one considers how the student's time could have been used to hone skills valuable to niche specializations. And my computer is requesting the British spelling for that. So you can see that we're offering a slight bit of concession here because we're saying that a real-world experience. So we're saying that this is a benefit, or is often argued a benefit, but what we're doing is we're saying that this is true, but then we're turning this around and we're disproving how much of a benefit this actually is. It cannot really be seen as an advantage when one considers how the student's time could have been used to hone skills valuable to niche specializations. Okay, so we're offering a little bit of concession to the other side, but the important thing here is that the ultimate conclusion in this paragraph is that there are more disadvantages than advantages. Students sometimes make the mistake of arguing against their thesis in an effort to provide some sort of balanced look at both sides. And in an argument essay, you don't want to do this. You want to present your argument and to present reasons in support of your argument. And if you do offer concession, you are best to counter that concession with further argumentation in support of your position. This is yet another example of how the disadvantages that come from, I was typing too quickly here, come from taking a year off school outweigh the advantages. After analyzing, again, I keep typing this in Canadian English and my computer wants British. The above points, it has been proved that pausing formal education after high school brings about more disadvantages than advantages. So here we are reiterating our central point in the essay. And this offers a nice conclusion to the essay and also links this section to other sections within the essay. So it's a demonstration of our ability to write cohesively. It is advised future university hopefuls do not pander to the temptation of breaking from a path towards education. Okay, and just finishing the essay off with a recommendation. So as you can see, advantage and disadvantage questions can be very, very straightforward, but you have to be careful about what the instruction words are. So in this case, we were asked, do you think this has more advantages than disadvantages? But you could be faced with a circumstance where the instruction words ask you to discuss the advantages and disadvantages and come to a reasoned conclusion. And in that case, you would be structuring your essay differently. You'd have to look at the advantages, spend a paragraph looking at the advantages, and then another paragraph looking at the disadvantages, and then from that discussion come to some sort of reasoned conclusion. So that's a different essay question that requires a different essay structure. I hope that video was helpful. Thank you for listening and have a nice evening.